Collen Hurst, 211 Warren Avenue, the subject and responsibility of city representatives.
Hello, Collen Hurst, 211 Warren Avenue, Elyria. Council members, council president. First, I want to refer to Mr. Brackenoff's presentation. He did mention that the building of the Avon and the Amherst-Lorraine shopping areas has impacted our mall. That is true, and I brought that up 2 meetings ago when I said that our mall looks like crap. And what are they offering that we're not? Shouldn't we be considering that? Shouldn't Mr. Brackenoff be checking into that? Now, some feedback on the last meeting. Well, I thought it was unproductive for one part of the meeting to become a verbal fisticuff between Brian Allen and Councilman Bullocks. I believe that there is some worthy insight to be derived from that exchange. First, kudos to Mr. Allen for making city officials more accessible to people who may not have realized where to go or who to contact for their concerns. I may or may not agree with his methods, but his efforts and the subsequent news articles brought some much needed public awareness. Might I also mention that at least once this past week while I looked on the city's website, the last 4 digits of the phone numbers for the mayor's office were blocked out and there wasn't any city council numbers even listed. So if the website is bugged or broken or having technical difficulties, how are people supposed to rely on this means for getting in touch with their appropriate council person? Second, while I may understand Mr. Bullock's outburst toward Mr. Allen, I wish to remind you all that residents of the city of Elyria are not the only ones with a stake in what happens in the city. Therefore, it is not solely their phone calls that should have attention. There are plenty of people who have businesses here, or relatives here, or even children who live here, even if they themselves don't live here. But these sources still have a very vested interest in the city, just as much as the residents, albeit perhaps in a different way, but nonetheless valid. These individuals or groups should not have phone calls ignored by council persons. Just because they don't vote on who stays and who leaves your council seats doesn't mean that they don't deserve to be heard as much as the rest of us. Like it or not, cities are not a solitary bubble that contain only the people that live here. People that utilize the city and its resources, as well as contribute to the city through paying taxes and revenues, often come from outside the city limits and therefore should have their voices heard also. Also regarding the last meeting and the passing of utility rates, is it true that federal funds are possibly being made available for projects like this through efforts of Sherrod Brown and others? And if so, does it lower our chances for being awarded these funds, having already approved funding for this project? Why would you do that? Why wouldn't you approve the first one, maybe the second one, and then delay the vote until after the federal funds have been allocated? If I'm incorrect, please let me know. One of the reasons I'm here is to learn. Now, about the committee meeting last Monday, Mayor Grace asked for a rewording of the charter to allow demotion in the fire department to save money. I'll address that in a minute, so that's okay, but it wasn't okay for First Merit, a long-standing financial institution that employs residents and pays taxes to this city, to ask for it to be allowed to maintain the same sign structure that it currently has in order to save on its expenses. Are you kidding me? Is it really that important that the background of the sign be opaque? Why all the posturing about a cosmetic guideline? And these are guidelines, right? I mean, these are not ordinances, binding laws or anything. They're just guidelines. Signs are a business's first contact to potential customer. This adds to their ability to draw a customer base.
Thank you.
Extension, please.
I'll make a motion for the extension.
Second.
Moved to second.
Question.
Discussion. Question. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
What did you specify who made that motion? Excuse me.
Oh,
Who
no
made
problem.
the motion? Vic, did you make it for her specifically? It's Mrs. Collen Hurst.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Wait, gotta find my spot. Oh, okay. Just because only a few businesses have come forward wanting to keep the current sign structure as opposed to changing it to opaque, why shouldn't they be able to? Why do they even not need to ask permission for something that is a guideline and not a city ordinance to begin with? I owned a business a few years ago. I understand the importance of zoning, signing, taxes, safety, and other considerations in deciding on a location in which to open. As I've stated in previous addresses, I'm not here to complain. I'm here to learn, express my concerns, but also to offer ideas and solutions. So, if the city council or the design committee or whoever deals with this stuff really wants to get rid of the opportunities for looking petty in the eyes of businesses, residents, and the media, here's a solution. First, come up with a reasonable design guideline that keeps away eyesores and public nuisances, but also allows for the flexibility and creativity for business owners to be able to express themselves. Second, vote on these guidelines to make them enforceable and finable ordinances. If it isn't worth making a law, then it isn't worth arguing about who's right and who's wrong. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. As far as rewording of the charter of the fire department to allow demotions, did I understand you correctly that if these demotions happen, we'll only have 3 fire stations operational? Is that right? Are you guys kidding me? Mr. Locko, according to the Chronicle Telegram, you were reported as saying that you voted against the rewording of the charter because you were worried about union litigation, right?